The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, we still good on audio? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
How about me?
Yeah.
Yep, sound great. We will give it 3 more minutes and then we'll start it up.
Very
Love
good. I can't see attendee list, Adam. I think just probably you.
Okay.
Is that right? That's fine. But
Yeah. I think we're still waiting for a few to show up by the numbers.
Cool.
We will have a recording though for those interested. We will talk about that probably too.
All right.
I'm totally that person that joins like the moment the webinar starts.
Like, yeah, I always like the recording. I like the on demand.
Yeah.
Mary, I was watching back the content episode you guys did on Industrial Marketing Live a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was really solid. It was cool to see all the interaction from different people and stuff. I like the all cameras, up thing.
It's been really fun. I think I'm the most surprised at how much the chat blows up.
Like I heard that. Hey,
yeah.
She said you were answering questions about like directing people where to go inside of an ad platform or something, and yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. The trade show one the chat was crazy because it was like we opened it up with like, which trade shows are you going to, and like everyone was like responding to each other like, oh, I'm gonna be at that one too, like look for me at this place. It was really cool.
Good.
Adam, are you going to any trade shows this year?
Content Marketing World for sure. We're exhibiting at, and otherwise we're doing a lot of attending, but not a lot of exhibiting right now. We're just, nice. A lot of dipping our toe in the water. How about you guys?
No plans for any right now.
Yeah.
How about you, Joe?
No, nothing like solidified. I imagine we will send people to walk the halls in some places, but yeah, I'm not sure. It'd be good to get some. Mary, we should send you to IMTS. You're in Chicago anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is 2 o'clock. Give another 20 or 30 seconds. People are definitely filing in still. All right, well, I think let's get going here. So, all right, everyone, welcome to LinkedIn Targeting for Industrial Manufacturers. This is part of our Industrial Marketing webinar series. My name is Adam Beck. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Cadenas Part Solution, and I'm joined by 2 fellow awesome industrial marketers. So Joe Sullivan, the founder and thinker at Gorilla 76, and Mary Keogh, who is a thinker and strategist also at Gorilla 76. Fun fact, we met Mary before she was at Gorilla. She was at a partner manufacturer of ours called Spraying Systems. They used our eCatalog Solutions platform, so she comes with a really unique perspective, and I'm eager to hear what she has to teach us today. This is different for me because I'm kind of the audience here, so I'm going to hang out, interject with a question or two, and learn a lot, I hope. So some ground rules for the webinar. Again, we're doing this a little differently, so don't hold your questions back till the end. If you have a question, put it in the chat in real time, and I'll try to insert that to get Mary's feedback right on whatever slide or whatever topic we're talking about in real time. And if we don't get to the questions in this, we will have a follow-up. We'll have the recording. We'll have some sort of written version of the answers for you. So we will answer all of them, even if we don't get to them on screen. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Joe.
Great. Well, yeah, thanks for having us, Adam. This is exciting to be doing. It's a topic that we talk about quite a bit with, internally at our company, Gorilla, and with our clients as well. For people who don't know, we are an industrial marketing agency, a team of about 20 based in St. Louis, but kind of scattered throughout the country at this point. And so we work with a lot of mid-size manufacturers, OEMs, contract manufacturers, robotics integrators, software companies in Industry 4.0 environments. And so we see a lot of companies who are maybe dabbling a little bit in LinkedIn, or they're doing some stuff organically. Maybe they're doing some promoted posts or something. But what I posted this as an organic post just 3 months ago after I got off a sales call with somebody, and realizing what I'm seeing is that a lot of companies don't really realize what's possible from a targeting perspective on LinkedIn when you are using it as a paid media platform. And I want to first say that I'm a major advocate of doing LinkedIn organically. There's a lot to be gained by being in there on a regular basis and crafting content and insights that are helpful to your audience, and building a network, and commenting on posts from other people in your audience. There's a lot to be gained there. We've reaped the benefits of doing it consistently with our company and even a few of our clients who do it well, but it also is hard work. It takes smart insights in the first place. It takes a commitment to doing it consistently, being in there day after day and being helpful. And so while the purpose of today's webinar is not to say, scrap that, here's the shortcut, just buy visibility with a media budget. The purpose is really to say that these things complement each other well, and we want to show you what you can do on the paid side of LinkedIn that I think a lot of companies don't realize is even possible. So this post that caught Adam's attention, he reached out and said, man, we really need to do an event about this, because I think you were kind of seeing some of the same things, Adam, as you might.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've felt the pain on the other side of this. We've dipped our toe in LinkedIn ads a few times, and like I was telling you, we've set a budget, and our audience was too broad, and it gobbled our budget like 3 clicks in, and then it's like, well, LinkedIn ads aren't good. And that is not the answer that I should have taken away. It was that we didn't have our audience segmented correctly, and we weren't getting the right visibility to the content that we're putting out there. So we just blew it. We shot it right out in the ocean, basically, and it's like, oh, well, it's gone. Our money's gone. So if I had targeted that better, we probably would have gotten more ROI for what we were doing.
And I love what you said there. We said, well, I guess I drew the conclusion, I guess LinkedIn ads aren't good, because, man, I can't tell you how many times you could sub in Facebook ads, you could sub in content marketing, you could sub in, Google ads, you could anything, email marketing. The number of times I've heard, we tried this channel and it didn't work for us. Okay, there's a big difference between trying something and going in with a really sound strategy and doing it well. A lot of this comes down to the execution and your knowledge of the platform and your ability to figure out what to do and also what not to do. And so that's what we'll get into a lot here today. And Mary's the true pro at getting into the details of this. I'm just sort of setting up this conversation, and she's going to get a lot more tactical with you to show you what's possible and how to do it. But the first paragraph of this is really the part I wanted to hit on. On LinkedIn, there are 45,000 plus process engineers, 140,000 plus project engineers, 490,000 plus mechanical engineers, 620,000 plus systems engineers, and that list goes on. And the point here is that largely, when I think about the manufacturing organizations we work with, a lot of them are, the people who they need to reach are often technical professionals, some type of engineer, maybe plant managers, maintenance people inside of manufacturing facilities, as well as C-suite. But a lot of times they are trying to reach the people who early on in the buying process, or maybe before the buying process, are experiencing some issue on the shop floor or something that they're trying to achieve. And the point is, we can reach these people here, and not to deliver product messaging and sales messaging and kind of overwhelm them with, here's who we are and what we do and why you should buy stuff from us. But first, to be there showing thought, demonstrating thought leadership, sharing content that's going to be valuable to them. If you know what, say, those process engineers are struggling with in their job, or the challenges they're trying to overcome, or and you know how to address those things through your solution, well, can we share insights and content that addresses those things? And the beauty of using LinkedIn as a paid platform is we can target them specifically. So we know that this piece of content we're sharing, whether it is a snippet from a blog post or it is a video of one of your experts talking for 1 minute about, how to do something the new way versus the old way, or talking about ROI or total cost of ownership or whatever, we know that we can show this to just people who fit that description. People with these job titles in this geography, these 5 Midwest states, and who work at types of companies like this, or maybe even this exact list of 300 companies. We can do that. We can do all that inside of LinkedIn. And there's a big difference between you taking something and posting it from your personal profile or your company profile when you have 400 people following you, and being able to say, hey, LinkedIn, show this to the 45,000 process engineers in the United States at companies of this size and type. So that I'll stop with the setup because I want to get into
I have one thing to add on to that.
Yeah,
because it's that first line that was the hook for me, because we as part of the service that we provide, we try to help manufacturers promote the tool that we create for them, which is their CAD tool and their PDF tool. But we do a marketing kickoff, and we're always talking about who are you trying to reach with this? We want to help you get in front of those people. And it's always, or it's a design engineer, like you're saying, a process engineer, a mechanical engineer, which doesn't mean as much to me as not an engineer. Those, like the words that come in front of engineer there, process engineer, design engineer, mean a lot as far as segmenting this audience. If you just say all engineers, you have a wide beam there. Again, you can narrow and narrow. That was the revelation to me just in this, like, oh, I can go more narrower than that even than I thought I could go. And they could help these manufacturers get in front of the exact type of engineer they need.
That's exactly right. And that's what you need to do. You need to find the right balance of reaching enough of the right people and weeding out the rest. And you may have different audiences where, you need to reach plant managers, but you also need to reach automation engineers. And these people care about different things. And so you'd have different campaigns running and different messaging running to each of those segments, because what matters to each of those people is different. And that's also going to be very different from what the CEO of the company probably cares about. So, this is why targeting is it's so important. You can't deliver a message broadly and expect it to resonate with anybody, but you can't deliver a message that's so tight on one person and expect other audiences are it's going to resonate with them either. So, that's kind of what we're going to get into is show you how to dial in on those right people and build custom audiences and how to deliver messaging to exactly them and nobody else.
Awesome.
Cool. Mary, should we hand it to you?
All right, sounds great. Like Joe said, please ask questions throughout. Adam will interrupt me. I tend to work fast. I tend to talk fast. So if you need me to slow down or ask questions, please do. So let's start with the 5 W's and an H. So before we get into kind of the nitty gritty tactical, I want to do like a big broad overview: who, what, where, why, when, and how to be successful using LinkedIn's ad platform. So who can do it? Really, anyone with a LinkedIn profile and a credit card can use LinkedIn ads, which is really great news, right? Who should do it is kind of a different story. So in my opinion, someone with some semblance of audience targeting, company positioning, and messaging should do LinkedIn ads. All right, so what do you need to be successful? So rather than kind of doing like a what is LinkedIn's ad platform, we already know it's called Campaign Manager. We'll get into how you set those up in just a couple of minutes here. But to be successful with LinkedIn ads, what you really need to have is a well-defined audience. So exactly what Joe and Adam were just talking about, good positioning and messaging, and some kind of creative. So some kind of picture, great copy, a good headline, that kind of thing. All right, so now where, from an obvious standpoint, the where is LinkedIn, but how about where you could put your ads? So there's a lot of different places you can put them. You can put them in the feed, so in the feed that someone's scrolling through. You can put ads in an in-mail, so you can kind of promote an in-mail message. You can put it as a conversation, or you can put it in the side of the feed. So almost like those little like pop-ups you see. What we recommend for people who are just starting out, and honestly, the only thing that we really do is in the feed. So you can experiment with in-mail and messaging, but I definitely recommend you kind of know who your target audience is and get like kind of a better feel for the ads platform before you start doing stuff like that.
I know I don't appreciate the spammy messaging ones that I think that goes spammy even quicker than it might not even be spammy, and it comes off as spammy a little bit in the messaging.
Yeah, because you see like the promoted thing like right under someone's name, so you know right away that they're probably paying to get in contact with you. Yeah. So yeah, definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, so this is actually more important than you think. You should really only use LinkedIn paid ads as part of a strategy centered on, again, good positioning, proper targeting, and when you have the approval to do a focused effort over a sustained period of time. So what we see a lot at Gorilla is, hey, can we just like throw an ad out there for a month? That's fine, you can do it, but you're just not gonna get the kind of ROI that you would want from something like that. What we usually recommend, and we'll kind of talk about this a little bit later too, is you're gonna need a sustained effort that's about 2x your average sales cycle length. So if your average sales cycle when someone's getting in touch with you outbound is like 6 months, you're gonna need a sustained effort over 12 months for paid ads to really start like producing any pipeline for you. All right, why? That's the big one, right? I think Joe and Adam covered this really well on why you should do LinkedIn ads. Just to throw some data out there, obviously LinkedIn protects its algorithm really well, but it's estimated that only 1 to 10% of an organic post, like your organic post reaches only 1 to 10% of your connected audience. So like Joe said, you can't guarantee consumption when you post organically, and only 1 to 10% of the people in your network even see it on any given day or time. So with something like LinkedIn ads, you can target that messaging, put it out in front of the people who you want to reach. All right, how? Now it's the fun part. We get to kind of do how we use it, how we do it, how we set it up. All right, so getting started. This is just a really basic overview how you access it. So you're home, you got your LinkedIn home, you're gonna click advertise up here, and it'll take you right into LinkedIn Campaign Manager. Now there's a lot of stuff here, so we're gonna just kind of like attack it bit by bit, and we're gonna start as if we were creating our own campaign and our own ad. All right, cool. So first things first is how to create a campaign. So in that thing, you're gonna go to that create button. It'll give you this drop down and you can go create campaign. Pretty basic so far. All right, now the semi-fun part before we start getting into targeting is objective. So objective, plain and simple, brand awareness is the easiest one. You're gonna get the most bang for your buck. It's the one that we recommend and use the most often. That doesn't mean you should discount any of the other ones. If you have a video, obviously we recommend doing an objective for video views because LinkedIn will show it to people who are more likely to watch and consume a video. Engagement, that's going to be shown to people more likely to engage with your ad, as in read it, react to it, share it, and comment on it. Website visits, that's pretty obvious. It's going to be shown to people most likely to click on your ad and go to your website or go to the link, whichever one that you're posting. Conversions gets a little more technical. We won't go over job applicants since we're kind of talking more like marketing ads. Website conversions, that's going to be shown to people who are most likely to convert on a high intent form or the form that you are putting out. So it might be like kind of like a lead gen form. This is what we would do for like an ebook download or something like that. We don't use these very often and only like in very tactical instances. So like I said, almost always brand awareness, or if you have a video, video views.
So what does that mean? Does that mean that the ad looks and shaped and functions different, or is it based on the audience, what they typically do?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It will be slightly based on how it functions. So like I said, video views, we recommend for videos just because it's shown to people who are more likely to engage with it. Brand awareness is like probably the one we recommend the most often, even if you do want people to click on your ad and like go to the web page or whatever, because brand awareness is just going to be shown to the most people in your audience. So like you said, Adam, like let's say you have an audience of, 500,000, which like we'll talk about in a second here is way, way, way too big. But it's going to be shown to as many people as LinkedIn can possibly reach in that 500,000 person audience. As you move into consideration and conversions, that audience is going to get smaller and smaller. So even though the audience says it's 500,000 people, maybe only 10 to 20% of that LinkedIn's algorithm has determined is going to click on your ad or convert on your web page or something like that.
Well, that's something that we definitely did wrong then right off the bat in the last one, when we did our last campaign. So learning already.
Oh yeah, when I first got started at it, even when I was at Spraying Systems, I mean, it was like, I don't know, this was like let's just try it, let's see what happens.
Yeah, just turning knobs and pushing buttons. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, now the fun part. When you go into that campaign and you select the audience, this is a very overwhelming page, so we'll just kind of go at it bit by bit. So we can go by location. You can go as small or as niche as even a city. So I could just select Chicago, Illinois, and it would put ads only to people who are going to do whatever objective I've selected in Chicago, Illinois. This is pretty cool too. You can also exclude people in other locations. So let's say you do the United States, but for some reason you're not allowed to sell to Texas or something, you can exclude Texas in there. Now going into here, like who is your target audience? This is the fun part, and this is where we get to start building what our audience is going to look like.
So before you get to that, we do have a question on your previous slide. Previous slide. So if I'm trying to get people to book a demo, what would that be conversion or consideration?
I would do conversions on that one because you're actually trying to get them to click the button, submit their information, and convert on the page. But for that one, sorry that we can't bring them on, but make sure your conversion is set up correctly in LinkedIn. We can talk through that at the end if we have some time. If not, then just Google like how to set up a conversion in LinkedIn. It's actually really good about showing you how to do it.
I actually have a couple other questions that apparently got hidden behind that first one. So first one, I don't see the advertise link. Do I need a premium membership?
If you click on that kind of button, it's like 3 by 3 boxes. So it's like 9 little mini boxes. You should be able to click in there and then set up an advertising account. Okay.
So they need to set up an account, even on a normal account, but it's different from premium membership.
Yeah, you do not need to have a premium membership to have a LinkedIn ads like access to Campaign Manager.
He's got it. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, awesome.
We got confirmation.
Cool.
It says the other one I see is, can you change the objective after the ads are created if it's not working?
You can change it. No. That's the frustrating thing about LinkedIn ads as opposed to like Facebook ads. You would have to, if you wanted to, you could duplicate the campaign and then change the objective, but you can't change the objective in the campaign once it's already launched.
Okay, and then the last one, does this apply to ads or is this sponsoring a post? Like, is there a difference there? Like, does it have to be a unique ad or is it a sponsored post as far as the previous slide for what you're talking about?
So if you're boosting an already posted post, then it's going to do something similar where you can still target based on objective and audience, but you already have the content, which is nice.
Okay.
Cool.
Back to you.
All right. Now this is the super fun part. Like I said, your most important top secret, super powerful weapon is job title targeting. So this is where you can get super granular in your target audience. So we'll go back one here. What you're going to do is under this audience attributes, you're going to select job experience. And under job experience, there is job titles. So that's the one where you guys are going to select all the fun engineering titles and operations managers right within there. this is another layer that we recommend doing. So you can go, so once you select all your job titles, and I'll show you how to do this in just a minute, you can select a little and underneath the job title, and then you can hone in on that ideal customer profile by going to company and then industries. This is one of the most common ways that you can reduce that audience size from, 500,000 to 50,000. You'll be so surprised at how much more targeted your audience can be when you narrow in by company industry. All right, we can keep going unless there's any questions.
Well, I guess, does it show, what is it? Is it industry by like NAICS code or SIC code, or do they just name it as like manufacturing or something like that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised at how narrow some of those LinkedIn audiences can be. I thought, like you, Adam, that it was going to be really broad, like just, manufacturing. They do everything from like aerospace manufacturing, manufacturing machinery, agriculture manufacturing. I mean, you can get really narrow in the audience segments. All right, so this is how it might look. Now, this is, again, very overwhelming, so I'm going to talk you through kind of step by step what this might look like. So in this, I have created a fake audience of process and operations engineers in the oil and gas industry. So I just started with process engineers, and LinkedIn, once you select one of those, will start to show you not only everything that matches your search, so you'll see all of these have operations engineer in some capacity in their job title. They'll also show you some suggested job titles that you might not know exist within that process or operations engineer. So this part is really cool, and that's where I've found some, job titles I never even heard of, which is awesome.
So I have two questions.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, if you're still going, I'll let you keep going.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
it says, if I'm already building prospect lists through Sales Navigator, can I just use one of those lists directly?
Yes. It's a little more complicated, and I didn't have a slide on it in this one, but you can, if you, again, Google or go to the LinkedIn Solutions help, their articles are amazing. You can build what's called a company list using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and not only will it find all the people in that company that work there, it will also find, you can create what's called a lookalike audience. So if you want people who look like other people at that company and with that job title.
Okay. The next one is, where does, and I'm assuming they're talking about company information here, but where does this company information data come from? Is this some third-party thing, or is this inside of LinkedIn?
I don't know for sure, but I know most of their job title and industry targeting comes directly from LinkedIn. So when you do something, so let's say you're at your personal profile. So we'll use mine as an example. So I am Mary Keogh. I am a marketing strategist, and I work at Gorilla 76. Now, Gorilla 76 has its own company page that's labeled marketing and advertising. Then I have my job title, which is strategist. So if anybody is selecting an ad that's targeting any marketing company, because I work at Gorilla 76 and it's on my LinkedIn profile, I'm likely going to see that ad.
Okay, so that plays into the next question, which says, can you segment by maybe a keyword in the company's description? We're looking for a pump manufacturer or whatever that might be, but it's not in their name and it's not spelled out as far as, what they manufacture, because that's kind of specific.
Likely not. So that's a really good question. I had one instance where I was trying to target chemical foam manufacturers, and they do not have a chemical foam manufacturer designation. So I just had to do chemical processing. So
Okay.
yeah, you kind of have to get creative in there.
All right. That's it. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So we've got all our engineers. I like where I'm at here. Prior to segmenting also by company industry, so that's where that and comes in, you'll be able to select this and then go to that company industry part under company that I told you guys about. Prior to that, my audience size was like probably 400,000. And then all of a sudden I segment by oil and energy, and bam, we're at about 13,000, which is a really nice audience size. It's a little bit small, but not bad. And you'll see they kind of give you a breakdown where you're going to see those job titles, how much you might expect to spend in 30 days, the reach, and your average frequency. So average frequency is the number of times your ad's going to be shown to any individual person in this audience in a 30-day period. Now, I will tell you this is, oh, sorry, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, so it seems like it's something you're probably about to cover, but the question is, would it make sense to make a list of companies you already aware of within your target and use that as your reference list?
Yep, you can absolutely do that. You can, when you go by, I think I had it in my previous slide too. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, perfect. So if you go by company, you can do one of two things. You can search all those individual company names right in here, and LinkedIn will give you also similar companies, like I said in that suggestions with the job titles too. Or you can upload an Excel spreadsheet into LinkedIn under matched audiences. So just like I said, Google how to do that. Just Google how do I upload a company list into LinkedIn, and it'll show you step by step exactly how to do it.
Okay.
Mary, isn't there a minimum number of companies that have to be uploaded? Was it 300 or something like that? Or is it not that many?
So not 300 companies, just 300. LinkedIn has to find at least 300 people associated with those companies. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so you said that 13,000 was, you like that audience size. I have the question here is, what is a good audience size?
Yep.
I guess that depends on a lot of things.
It does depend on a lot of things, mostly budget, which in industrial companies, as I'm sure we all know, is fairly low. So unless you're spending over $5,000 a month, I would recommend keeping audience sizes between 10 to 80,000.
Okay, and then the last one we have here, which I think you kind of covered in the last one, was what if I have pulled LinkedIn profiles of targets from a database? How do I set that up?
So you can target by people too. So the exact same way that I just talked about uploading companies, you can also upload contacts. And like Joe pointed out, you have to have at least 300. So upload that 300 list from your Excel document into LinkedIn, and it'll go find them.
All right, perfect.
Oh, and I want to do a warning because this has scared me in the past too. I've uploaded both company and contact lists into LinkedIn. It can take 2 full days for that to upload. So don't be nervous if when you first upload it, it says audience size too small. Wait a couple days. It takes a while for LinkedIn to go out and find all those profiles.
And that's confidential, right? There's nothing, they're just saying this looks like this. There's not like, you're not exactly, they're not saying, hey, Mary just uploaded a list of you people or anything like that, obviously, but it feels weird uploading a list like that.
I think that's why they have that minimum of 300. So you can't upload 10 people and it's like, okay, LinkedIn found you all. Cause then it would be like, yeah, probably breach of several privacy policies.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to talk about this in a second, but this is an important thing to keep in mind, especially if you have a smaller target audience size like this. We usually recommend your frequency stays below 5. So that means the same person is seeing your ad 5 times in any given period. Obviously, if it's like 5 times over 6 months, it's probably not that big of a deal. But since we're talking about these nice segmented audience sizes, we want to keep that frequency nice and tight. Now, what this means is you might just have to rotate something as simple as an image, maybe just the headline, maybe just the copy. This doesn't mean you have to upload a whole new ad, create a whole nother campaign. Just change out the image. We found even that just reduces the ad fatigue of seeing that same thing over and over and over.
So one more question on this topic. So if targeting by a list of names, is there a chance that you may have a list of company associated emails and LinkedIn will be unable to target them because they use their personal email account?
Yes. Yep, that's definitely possible. So I would definitely recommend if 300 is the minimum and you have 300, LinkedIn probably won't find them. I will probably minimum, I would 3x it. So if you need 300 people, I would 3x it to 900 just so LinkedIn has the opportunity.
So it doesn't count those as people that it knows because you're referencing the wrong email address.
Yes, but the more information you have on them, the better. So even if you have first name, last name, and then let's say the company email address, it might try and still go find that first and last name and try and associate it in some way. So the more information you have about them, the easier it is for LinkedIn to try and match them. Obviously, John Smith probably isn't going to be very good for you, but You get what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Now, segmenting can be as perfect as just don't underestimate the power of exclusions. So you can do this little thing right underneath that audience thing that you'll see called exclude. You can exclude by anything from industry to company name to job experience. So if you don't want entry-level people, like you've targeted a manager, director, or VP as your ICP or targeted audience, you can exclude anybody with a job experience of, let's say, less than 3 years. So that's one way to kind of make sure your ads are still being served to the right people. When we get into the assessing results part, and we'll get into it later, like how you get there and everything. But if you see a bunch of companies too that are just not good fits for you, you can also exclude company names also.
Okay, we do have another question here. So to achieve the frequency of 5 that you referenced in the last one, do you need to create additional ads or can you limit it to 5?
So
is that number
LinkedIn,
locked? Yeah.
LinkedIn does not have rules, so you have to keep checking in on it. That's one thing that we've definitely complained to the LinkedIn ads platform about, because in Facebook you can limit it to a frequency and it'll stop showing. So no, it won't stop showing. You have to check in on it. And yes, it can be as simple as you uploading 3 or 4 ads and only turning one on at a time until it reaches 5, and then you just turn it off and then turn another one on.
Okay, and then the last one there is how accurate do you find the forecasts are for those segments?
Fairly accurate, actually. The frequency one especially.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so more exclusions that you can do. Uncheck this, please. Please uncheck enable audience expansion. Please uncheck LinkedIn Audience Network. Yes, you can see the data on it, but you have much less control over who's seeing your ad, where they're seeing it, and how they're consuming it. So audience expansion, like 100%, please uncheck this. I'm gonna give you guys a personal example. My friend recently got hired at a new financial company, and because I was connected with him and liked his job post, I started getting served ads for that financial company. Now, this is a financial company who doesn't serve, consumers. This is somebody who serves only, Series 72 or whatever registered financial representatives. So that is clearly not me. I am a marketer, not a financial representative, but I was still being served that ad because the audience expansion was on and I was connected to that person. So hands down, definitely uncheck that. LinkedIn Audience Network. This is just other partner apps and websites that LinkedIn owns that your ad can be served on, and you have no control over where that ad is served or how it's served. Okay. Awesome. Next is we're going to go to assessing the results. And because Joe always complains that my images are too small, I blew it up for you guys too. So we're going to go into this demographics portion. Now, this is after your ad's been served for, let's say, anywhere from 7 to 30 days. Please wait until then to go into this demographics thing. Otherwise, you're just not going to get good data out of it. All right, so this is the first place you're going to be taken to once you hit that demographics button. So the first thing you're going to see is job function. So this is using that same engineering audience I showed you before. Oh, yay, we're getting some good operations, we're getting some good engineering. If you have enough data, you might even get to see the average click-through rate, which is pretty cool. Next thing you can do is target by job title. So you can make sure that your ads are being served to the job titles that you want them to be served to. This is another great opportunity for you guys to add any exclusions. So if you see any job titles in this demographics where they're eating up a significant share of your impressions, you can add them to that exclusions list. Next thing we'll do, and this is the most fun one to me. If you have enough impressions and LinkedIn has gathered enough data, you can also see the people from different companies who are consuming your content. And this is really cool. We've seen really interesting click-through rates of something like 5% at a certain company that maybe our client had never even heard of, but now they know everything about this company, which is kind of neat.
So two
This
quick
also-
questions here.
Yeah.
So one, perfect for this slide. What is an impression?
Yep. So
Uh,
impression,
go ahead.
anytime your ad appears on a LinkedIn platform. So let's say I sign into it and LinkedIn's pegged me for a marketing ad. Regardless of if I scroll past it or not, if it's served onto my screen when I'm logged in, that counts as an impression. Reach is if I paused and looked at that ad.
Yeah. So it doesn't even matter if you saw it to be an impression.
Yep.
So back 2 slides back about the checkboxes, which was a revelation to me as well. Can you uncheck those after the campaign is running, or do you have to scrap the thing and start over with a new ad? Can you turn those
No, you
off? Okay.
You can check and uncheck those at any time. So if you have an ad that's already running right now, you can go into your campaign group, click manage, and uncheck both of those buttons.
Cool.
Awesome. And even more results that you can assess. So I just went job function, job title, company. If you want to, you can also go as granular as industry, seniority, company size, location, country, region, and county. So this is just another great opportunity to not only communicate the value of your ads to your leadership team, like, hey, look at these, senior level executives who are consuming and clicking on our ad, but it's also a great opportunity to add more of those exclusions. So really making sure the right people are seeing your ad.
So we have a cost question here. Is there a cost sheet for LinkedIn ads? Do you pay by impression or by click? And I guess I would say, is it kind of like, other ad platforms where it's variable based on how valuable the audience is that you're marketing to?
Yep, that's exactly right. So the way that LinkedIn works is you cannot, like Facebook, select how you want your ads to be served under brand awareness. Brand awareness, you're automatically charged by reach. Website visits, you're charged by click. Lead gen, I think you can choose either clicks or impressions. You'll go in there, and once you can see it, there's like a little bidding strategy, and you can select which one you want to be charged by.
Okay.
But it's not as in depth as Facebook, unfortunately.
Okay.
As far as CPM, they definitely nailed it on the head. CPM is cost per, I think it's MIA, M-I-L-L-A. That's cost per 1,000 people reached. So we've seen, as you would expect, it costs a lot more to reach 1,000 VPs of engineering than it costs to reach, a entry-level manufacturer. Okay, it's a lot of information, right? So much. Where do I start? So here is some best practices we've learned through lots and lots and lots of trial and error. So we kind of went over most of these, but I'll just kind of go over it as a nice little summary. Unless you're spending more than $2,000 per month, one audience, one ad, and one objective. It's just so much easier to analyze the results when you have a smaller budget if your audience is nice and tight and you're only assessing one piece of creative. Keep audiences between 10 to 70K. We kind of discussed that a little bit. Any more than that, and like Adam found out, you'll dilute your budget really fast. And if you go less than 10,000, I think you have to have a minimum of 3,500 to have an audience on LinkedIn. If you go that low, you're going to hit frequency really quickly and you're going to need a lot of creative. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, just be prepared to switch that creative out pretty frequently. Keep frequency, we like to keep it pretty close to 4. You could even go as high as 5, that's fine, but I don't recommend going over 5.
But you can't adjust that number, right? That was fixed based on other criteria?
Which one?
The frequency. So how was that adjustable? Okay. You can't.
No, yeah, so you can't make.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, unfortunately. So in Facebook, you can make a rule that says, hey, once frequency hits 4.5 or higher, you can turn it off. LinkedIn, you can't do that, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. So when segmenting your audiences, especially if you have a smaller budget, start small and scale from there. So I just talked to somebody on LinkedIn today, actually. She was going after retail product managers with like a smart lock technology. So I recommended keeping it nice and tight right there at product managers in retail in the United States. So I think her audience size was somewhere around like 65K. And then if that works, then you can scale it to engineers at these smart locks. Or if you get more money, you can spread it from the United States to the UK. You know, they're an international company, so they're all over the place. So that's just one way to start, but start small, scale up from there. If your audience is still too big, so if you're still getting that over that 70K, segment by more job titles. So breakout. So let's say you are doing mechanical engineers for manufacturing machinery as an example. So I would start to segment out by more industries. So if you can segment it out by like cable manufacturers, I think you can do that. If you can segment out by like large scale manufacturing, I think you can do that too.
So
and
that
then I would,
right? That's what you're saying. That's a subset of the manufacturing machinery. Then below that, okay.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if it's still too big, definitely try and segment it out as much as possible. If your audience size is still too small, which I've only seen in a very rare amount of cases, start adding in job titles, but do it very carefully. So the example I had was they only wanted C-suite, and it was just way, way, way too small of an audience. LinkedIn wouldn't even serve it. So we started adding in VPs and then I think like head of. So even though they weren't technically chief XO, it was still like a upper level executive. So that helped. Now, as far as is my campaign successful or not? You know, like I said, it can take anywhere from 2x your sales cycle length to start seeing pipeline results, but some good leading indicators to just see if your ad is doing well or not. High reach to audience size. So if you have a 70,000 K audience and your reach is somewhere in, you know, half that or above, that's doing really well. So that means more than half of your audience is seeing it and stopping to see it. High click-through rate is good. Now, this should definitely be taken with a grain of salt. Videos do not see high click-through rates. So on that one, I would go with view rate and try and keep it above 35%. Click-through rate, anything above 0.4% we'll consider it like pretty decent. Anything above 1% and you are killing it. Most importantly, content consumption. Are people reacting to it? Are they commenting on it? Are they sharing it, which is even cooler? LinkedIn will notify you in your campaign manager if anybody likes or responds to your ad, which is pretty cool. And above all, trust your instincts. I'm sure you're doing great. So just by coming here and wanting to do better, you're probably doing awesome.
Okay, so we do have some questions about how do we trust our
Good.
instincts? Shouldn't we do the George Costanza and always do against our instincts? So is there okay, so what are your thoughts on third-party automated LinkedIn network building tools for connection building and the such?
Yeah, we've used a couple of them. They work great. Highly recommend if you have the budget for it.
Yeah. Do you have a specific recommendation?
Yes, I would recommend making sure that audience works first and that audience is present on LinkedIn and that your messaging and creative works really well before you put the budget into any kind of third-party LinkedIn audience building.
Okay. Will we get a link to this recording and or deck? Yes and yes. Right, we'll have a deck to share. We'll definitely have a post about it, and then we'll have the video to share it out. Is there a feature similar to the Facebook ad library on LinkedIn? I would love to be able to see whether our competitors are advertising on the platform and look at their creative.
Yes, okay. So I don't have that pulled up, but I'm so glad you asked. That's such a great question, and I'm glad you're thinking that way. If you go to your competitors page right now, so you go to the company page and then you'll see all those mini tabs. If you go to their posts, you should be able to see, like you'll see like video, post, followers. There's a little thing that says ads. So you can see any of your competitors' ads and they're required to show them on LinkedIn. So yes, you can do that. Really easy to do too.
Can you segment by keyword in post people have done? I think
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you go into the bar in LinkedIn, and let's say you're looking for industrial marketing, which Joe and I use all the time, you can search by hashtag, followers, posts, companies. So yeah,
So-
all those filters are right there underneath that search
So they're
bar.
basically self-selecting or self-segmenting themselves by things they've talked about.
Yep.
I'm learning a lot here today. I got to say it. Are shares counted as impressions when they are displayed? So if the ad is shared.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. So if you're like paying by impression, are you also paying for a share? The answer would be yes. And the cool thing is a share, I think, is amazing. Like if you can get a share on a LinkedIn ad, that's really cool. You'll also get a notification of it in your campaign manager.
Yeah, this is another good question. So where did you begin this campaign? Were you on your personal account or on the company account?
I was on my personal account.
Okay, but you're connected to the company account. Those are all, or it's not just a standalone personal account, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
Yep.
you can create a personal account for your page if you're, a brand ambassador or something like that, or you're trying to build your personal brand. You can also connect it to a company page.
Awesome. That's all that's on the list right now. Oh, no. Where is that add mini tab for competitors? If they don't do it, will it simply not be present?
That's exactly right. So if you don't see anything under that little ads mini tab, that means they're not showing any ads.
Okay.
Yep.
I think we're there. I think we're caught
Yeah,
up.
I wish I can try and we considered doing a live demo, but I was afraid I would break GoToWebinar. So
Yeah, I think even your descriptions and where you're going, I can already. This is going to be the most replayed webinar video of all time because I know I'm going to watch it about 20 times, possibly in slow motion in parts. Like, what did she say there? Okay, let me like. But it's all here. It's all recorded.
I know I move fast.
No, I'm excited. Is that your last slide?
That is,
Perfect.
if you have any questions, especially about that competitor's ads, just shoot me a message and I can send you a screen grab of some people who I know for sure do ads so I can show you where that is. Connect with Joe and I on LinkedIn and Adam. If you like more content like this, please check out our website. We do, much like Cadena's Part Solutions, we do a twice a month live event called Industrial Marketing Live that you guys can all attend. They're pretty fluid. We do a different subject, but we also open it up to Q&A. So we kind of do like an Ask Me Anything at the end anyways. So if you want to attend those, pop on in.
Awesome. Thank you. We do have a couple fresh. One is more of a comment than question, but they said, I wasted a good chunk of money trying and failing at Google display ads. This seems like a way better option for B2B. Thank you. And then this one says, I need more clarification. If I'm setting this up for my company, shouldn't I use the company account and pay for it through the company credit card?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. So you can do it either way. Yeah, it's an either or.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very easy if you are an admin on your company page and you're signing into Campaign Manager for the first time, you're just going to go to that create button in, I think it's like the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and it'll be create account. And because you're an admin, all you do is start typing in your company name and it'll automatically link it as soon as you click it. Very intuitive. LinkedIn wants you to spend money on their platform.
So with Bing owning LinkedIn, you have taken these strategies to use on Bing search ads as well?
We don't do any Bing search ads now.
Okay. We don't either. Would you use, I have opinions about Bing that I'm not going to get into here.
Yeah.
Would you use this separately from a SaaS like Hootsuite?
We've done some ads in HubSpot, which is similar to Hootsuite. I know Hootsuite is like a post scheduling tool. I didn't know that they did ads, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I know HubSpot
We've
does too. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done some posting in HubSpot only for lead gen campaigns because it's much easier to link the form to your HubSpot contact information. But I've like 99.9% of the time we'll do it in platform because it's just so much easier.
Yeah, yeah. It's like almost like you click a thing in HubSpot for it to click a thing in LinkedIn, and it's just like too many layers removed.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Duplicating is a nightmare in HubSpot. It's
I
horrible.
agree. It's not intuitive. How long have you been working with LinkedIn ads? Because you seem extremely knowledgeable.
I did a little bit at my company prior to this at Spraying Systems. I did it for probably 3 or 4 months there, and then 4 months at Gorilla, so like 8 months.
That's pretty good. That's doable. Anyone can do this for 8 months.
Heck yeah.
So thank you, Mary, for doing this today. I have gone to many webinars over the years that I thought I was going to learn a nugget. And if I got the one little nugget, I was stoked. And oftentimes it really wasn't there. There's so many gems in this. I'm biased because I get to be here alongside you, but fantastic, useful information. And thank you.
Heck yeah. And like I said, if you have any questions about the content later, just reach out. Happy to help.
We will send, there will be a follow-up email, probably from both companies, from Part Solutions, coming from myself, and then somebody at the Gorilla 76 team. We'll have all the content up probably early next week, ready to check out. And thank you guys so much for doing this. Mary especially, this was awesome.
Good. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. I appreciate the questions too. Those are awesome.
Yeah, they're all good. I don't see the official tally of how many questions we had, but there's a bunch here. Awesome. Well, that's it. And thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.